Oh, hell yeah. It's Friday night. It's Friday night. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Friday night. I got a special treat. I'm going to give you every game. I'm going to give you every game versus the spread. I'm going to use DraftKings today. However, I've been turned on to PointsBet. One of my all-time favorite Twitter follows, Ryan Leaf, former NFL quarterback, does a daily show and downloaded the app. Very excited to get to it. Before I get on the hot streak and reveal the game that I bet on, if you take a look at the description below, the information's already been revealed. I got with Denver Gator. He's got 3 guaranteed wins. I just have 1. So it's one of those rare weeks we actually agree on a game. I'm going to give you every single game, but I'm going to use DraftKings. So I'm using the DraftKings site, but I might switch to PointsBet. We'll have to wait and see. Before I reveal all the games and give you all the winners ahead of time, I'm going to talk about Thursday Night Football. During the game, it was announced CMC is traded to San Francisco. And the real winner of Thursday Night Football, it wasn't the Cardinals. It wasn't the 49ers. It wasn't the Carolina Panthers. It was actually the Philadelphia Eagles who get the Saints' first-round draft pick. I saw a site where it said the Eagles are going to get the 4th overall pick if the season were to end today. I don't know if that's true, but as of right now, it looks like the Eagles are going to get a top 10 pick. They're the only undefeated team in the NFL, and they're going to get a top 10 pick plus their own pick in this draft. And with this being a quarterback-heavy draft, and they have who I think is the MVP right now in Jalen Hurts, you're either going to get a top 5 player because it's going to be a quarterback-heavy draft, or you're going to get you could trade down, and you could do all sorts of things with a trade down. It's going to be very exciting to see what the Eagles do in the draft. But it's a long season. It's a long season. So, I've been kind of a cold on my picks lately. So before I reveal all my picks here, sometimes you got to get a rally hat. Sometimes you got to get the rally hat. So I'm breaking back the cowboy hat. Funk, what is up, my brother, man? How do you feel about your Lions this week? That's actually the first game. First game on the docket, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm pretty jacked up. I got an energy drink here, and man, really excited. You know what? Let's talk about right now. Right now, the line's changed. It was 7. It's now 6.5. Detroit is playing at Dallas. I believe that is correct. That the bottom team is the home team. Okay. This is a fun game. This is a really, really fun game. And I'll tell you why is because if for some reason, let's say the Cowboys win big, then I think you have to look at the Lions making some coaching moves. All right. I think that you have to start considering that. Fresh off of a bye, I saw Amon-Ra is going to play Swift and one other player, and I'm drawing a complete blank. I literally just looked at this minutes ago. Swift is questionable. Amon-Ra is going to play. One other player is questionable. I think if Detroit loses this game, you got to look at this team, and maybe you have a fire sale. If they lose this game, you may have to seriously consider a coaching decision. With Dallas, you got Dak Prescott coming back. How's this going to affect the team? Because I've said this for a long time. If Dallas runs the ball, just plays good defense, very simple, tried and true method, it's worked. No, they didn't beat the Eagles, but they won 4 straight. So it's going to be a fun game. I would take the over if I didn't watch them get shut out against New England. That's what I would be looking at, because the over-under is 49. And I know that Dallas can put up 30 against Detroit. I question whether Detroit can go against a very good Dallas defense. You know what? I've had multiple side effects with the energy drinks. It really affects my personality. Like, I've noticed I'm in a lot of it's kind of like roid rage, because I've been drinking a lot of these lately. I've been drinking a lot of energy drinks. I drink a lot of coffee. I have a lot of caffeine in my system. So when I drink energy drinks, I get like roid rage, for lack of a better word. It really messes me up, to tell you the truth. But the one thing about energy drinks is that they 100% work. Like, I'm really jacked up. I had a crazy day, and now I'm just going to get jacked up because I want to be amped up for the show. I might have to lose the hat, man. I'm starting to sweat. It's crazy Midwest weather. It was like 85. I was wearing shorts today. I thought it'd get really cold, but actually I'm pretty hot in my apartment right now. I actually have no clue what to think, but this is a really interesting game, because if Dallas covers and wins big and Dak Prescott has a big game, then, because I think that you're going to see a shift. I think that you're going to see the Mike McCarthy pass happy offense. And I think Dallas should be a run heavy offense. My initial, I would not bet on this game. I think this is a great game to do some in-game betting. I actually like the over, because I think New England's defense is better than the Cowboys defense. The Cowboys defense has been good. I like the over. That would kind of be my play. If I had to pick, I'd pick Dallas to cover, because I think Detroit is kind of falling apart. I would love. Now, keep in mind, if Swift plays, Amon-Ra St. Brown plays, Detroit, they could do it. Oh, Chris, man, I was thinking about you, man. One of these days I want to stop by Garozzo's, and dude, I seriously, this is an inside joke. This is an inside joke. I'm seriously looking at Anthony Glenn, drafted Hutch because of what he did in 2-point stance, paid Harris because of what he did in the 2-point stance, yet they haven't played one snap upright this year. I seriously, dude. I love spades. I'm a spades master. Me and this is kind of an inside joke. We used to play rummy like crackheads. We used to play rummy like crackheads, but yeah, I could bust out some spades, man. I miss the spades days. But Chris, God, it is good to see you, man. Good to see you in the chat. So anyway, my play here is Dallas. I think they get on the right track. This is a very important game for Detroit, because I seriously, Anthony Glenn could really be on the hot seat. And you have enough players there in Detroit, and the former players in the coaching staff. You could have somebody replace Aaron Glenn, and he may not have a choice. And I say Dan Campbell may not have a choice into what to do. I think the way the Lions organization set up is that I don't think that somebody's going to force Dan Campbell to make a move, but he may have to make a move if Dallas seriously puts on like 40 or something. But this is a very, very interesting game. Of course, I'm pulling for Detroit. I would not bet this game as far as with Detroit or Dallas. I do like over 49. I don't see Detroit getting skunked. I don't think Dallas's defense is that good. So I like the over on this game. Next game, Green Bay travels to Washington. Green Bay is a 4.5-point favorite on the road. The over-under is 41.5. I have not checked out the weather report. I should have. I didn't have time to check the weather report. I don't think it really matters because I love Green Bay. I think this is the week that they come back. A lot of people feel like Tyler Heineke's going to add something. He's not. He's not. He's not the answer. If you're a Washington fan, after the season's over, does Ron Rivera keep his job? I don't think he does. I really don't think he does. And I think that you're going to move on. But I think unless Wentz shows dramatic improvement, I think you got clean house, to tell you the truth. I think that you need to almost have a fire sale now. That way you can get your quarterback in the draft. That's kind of what I think. I think this is when Green Bay makes a run. Yeah, I know I said it last week, but I really think that they're going to really beat up. The line's 4.5. I think they win this game by double digits. I got Zippo that says going alone as a Jack, Ace, King, Queen of Hearts as a birthday gift from the smoke store 20 plus years. That's kind of cool, man. That's kind of cool. Next game, New York travels to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a 3-point favorite. A lot of people don't understand why Jacksonville's favored. The reason why is that talent-wise, they're about equal. New York's had an easy schedule for the most part. Jacksonville has not. Talent-wise, I honestly think top to bottom, Jacksonville has more talent. And people are going to say the coaching staff, well, I mean, you got first-year coach, first-year offensive coordinator. I can't think of who the defensive coordinator is. Oh, no, you have the experienced defensive coordinator. But is Saquon Barkley, the only way that the Giants win this game, Saquon Barkley has to get 20-plus touches, and he has to stay healthy. And if you're Jacksonville, the only thing you got to do in this game is shut down Saquon Barkley, but that's easier said than done. The defense is really good, but Jacksonville's defense is pretty good. I like the Giants to cover 3. I would not take this game. This is a game I really want to see because for the first time all year, Jacksonville's favored, all right? But for the first time all year, this is a game where the Giants are going on the road that they are supposed to beat a weaker opponent. The catch is Jacksonville Jaguars really aren't better, or the New York Giants really aren't head and shoulders better than Jacksonville. The Sharps understand this. All right, the Sharps understand this. This is a fun game. Does the Giants win this game, or does Jacksonville come back to life and people realize, wait a minute, the Giants really aren't that good of a team? Grandma Measy, well, hello. You are right on time. You're right on time. Don't forget, on your way in, give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. I'm stifling a sneeze. Go Vikings, LOL, taking a win. Oh yeah, absolutely. As long as Dalvin Cook is healthy, you are in very, very, very good shape. I like the Giants cover 2 this year. It's been janky, and I have no clue. It has been a crazy year. This is a fun game because for the first time all year, the Giants go on the road as a favorite. Now I know that they're a 3-point dog, but when you're 5-1 and you're traveling to a 2-4 team, you are supposed to win. I don't know. I want to say yes. I really do want to say yes, but talent-wise, Jacksonville's just as talented as New York. They really are. Is there a coaching advantage? Is there really? Would I take Doug Peterson or Brian Dable? I would take Peterson. Yeah, I know he's 2-4 right now, but I mean, hey, I'm really excited about this game. I really, really am excited about this game. My play would be New York in the 3 points. However, I would be very cautious about betting this one. Tampa Bay at Carolina. Tampa Bay is, with the trade, is now a 13-point favorite on the road. I don't know what to think on this one, because there's a part of me that thinks like Carolina could get rejuvenized and say, hey, we got nothing to lose. We're just going to play for next year. There's another part, excuse me, thinks Carolina could just fall apart. I don't know what to think about Tampa Bay. I really don't. Like, there's a large part of me that thinks Tampa Bay comes in, wins this game 27-3, and over under is 39.5. Like, take the under. So that's like a large part of me. Another part of me thinks that Carolina's going to come out and say, you know what, we're just going to play. Our defensive line can cause that offensive line of Tampa Bay problems. We're going to put pressure on Brady, trying to make him one-dimensional. Just go balls to the wall. I mean, I would not – I can't count on Tampa Bay with that offense covering 13. You may be better off taking the under, even though it's 39.5. This is a tough one. I would avoid it. My play, believe it or not, would be Carolina at home plus 13. I know that sounds crazy, but sometimes you get a team like this that just says, go for it, you know. Do not stifle your sneeze in bed. Send your Vegas bets. That's what I do. Here's Grandma Measy. Here's the drill. There's a lot of people on YouTube that just talk and make bold picks and hot takes and all that stuff. I put my money where my mouth is, and I have a video. I have the link below to the video. I show you exactly what I bet on, and I post my wins and losses. Right now, I am in the middle of a terrible losing streak. I am 0-6 on my last 6 bets. I've put action on 6 games, and I've lost also 6. I'm 1-8 for the year. I have 1 bet, but I've made 2 separate bets. I'm going to go into detail on that in a little bit, but yeah, if you do sports betting, this is the channel for you, because I show you exactly what I'm betting on. And then in the link below, it's a short video. I'm trying to keep them really short. Denver Gator does some sports betting. He's currently 7-6-1. He started off 7-2-1. He's last 2 weeks he's been 0-4. He has 3 guaranteed winners. And best part is about all my picks, everything's free of charge. I'm not trying to redirect you to a website where you have to pay, $49 or $99. I've thought about it. I thought about building. Actually, I did build a website. But one thing about my channel is I want to build a community of football fans. Like, I got Funk here, who's a Lions fan. Denver Gator, he's a Denver Broncos fan. I got my boy Keys. He hasn't been in a couple weeks. He's a Chiefs fan like myself. You're a Vikings fan, and I'm trying to build 32 fans that can come together, 32 fan bases to come together. But I offer sports betting advice. So yeah. So week 7 is here. I finally figured out the I got to give Denver Gator a special shout out. Last week, he told me to make sure to watch Tennessee and Alabama. I'm going to see a good game. And it was, if you didn't see it, you don't know what happens. It was maybe one of the greatest college football games I've ever seen. Top 5, maybe top 10, maybe top 5. Great game. When I lived on the North Shore of Tahoe, I used to be pretty good, but I also had more access, stats, and games. I always hope my teams win based on guts. Well, hey, I don't do this nearly enough, but I always encourage people that when you do bet, that you're not betting your rent money. You bet within your means. I was a blackjack dealer for years, and I've seen, I would have to say like 85% of people that came into over 85%, the number's probably closer to 95% of people that walked into a casino had no business being anywhere near a casino. Like, they need to get a second job. They needed put in extra work. They need to do anything except be in a casino. And I don't offer that caution nearly enough. So I watched your 101 video. Please do more. Well, you know what? I was debating on canceling that series because those videos are really, really hard doing 101 videos. So originally what I was going to do is I was going to show the whole play. I was going to show the whole play, and then I was going to break down everything on the play. But I went to what you're allowed to show and what you're not allowed to show, and it wasn't clear cut. I know that you can show a play like 5 seconds, and you won't get a violation. But if you show like a 30-second clip of an NFL game, I think that is a violation. I don't know. So what I did is I just took a screenshot. So I don't know how to really do that. And also I couldn't get like an explanation of how much I can show of an NFL game, because originally I showed the whole play in the video and I broke down what everybody's doing. Then I looked at it and I'm like, this is 30 seconds of an NFL play. I can't do that. So I had to cancel that out. And it took a lot of time. And so I love drawing on the whiteboard here. There is very few things I love more on earth than to break down NFL plays on the whiteboard. That's one of my all-time favorite things to do. And I'd like to do more of that. So I will do another 101 video. The next one's going to be on defense, and hopefully I can figure out how to do that. But those videos are really hard for me to do. I'm going to do some other videos regarding sports betting, because I got on DraftKings. I'm going to jump on PointsBet, and I'm going to do a 101 video for people who have never downloaded the app. Like, I took screenshots of every single step, and I'm going to do like some 101 videos on that. So yes. Vikings and Panthers fan. Okay, that's awesome. I bet into the ethers, not real money. What do you think about Chiefs spread and the Cowboys spread? Okay, I haven't got to the Chiefs yet. I'm going to spend some time on the Chiefs. The Cowboys spread, right now, it was 7. It's now 6.5. I had no idea, because Detroit gets some players back. You get Dak Prescott who comes back. I actually like the over, which is 49. If you had to put a gun to my head, I don't like this game at all. I would probably take Dallas to cover 6.5. I don't like it because I have no idea what to expect from Detroit after a bye. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to play. Swift is questionable. One other player is questionable. I just looked it up. I can't believe I forgot it. But I actually like the over, even though Dallas's defense has been playing really, really good. The over's 49. I think that this could be a potential high-scoring game because I think Dallas is going to put up 30. All right. I think Dak Prescott's going to help the offense. And I don't think I think that Detroit, I don't know. I know that they're not a team that's going to get skunked again. All right. I know that. Right. But are they the team that's been scoring 35 points a game? I don't think they're that either. So I'm like, okay, are they right in the middle? Let's say they're 20 points. Well, I think Dallas is going to get 30. So I like the over. I haven't touched base on the Chiefs yet, but if you take a look below, me and Denver Gator agree. So, oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, gambling. Yes. I was a blackjack dealer for years, and I always kind of cringe when I see people at the casino. So, don't tell me exactly. Denver Gator's giving you some great advice, and if you can't figure it out, his name's Denver Gator because he's a huge Chiefs and LSU Tigers fan. Denver, yeah. This year's been nuts, man. This year's been nuts. Tim, yes, dude. Right now, he's put action on the Jets making the playoffs. The answer is no. I'm not sold on the Jets yet. They have a very, very interesting game. they have a game that I am really, really looking forward to watching, which it sucks because it comes on the same time the Chiefs game is coming on. So I'm not going to be able to watch it, but I really hope that they rebroadcast it because I can't wait to see this one. The answer is no. They have a young team, but here's why. You have some holes on the offensive line. You have a very young quarterback, and you still have some youth on this team. Usually what happens is they usually come back down to earth. However, the hype's going to come if they win their next game. So we'll find out. I got some interesting thoughts on the Jets for this next game. Get some Lego guys, move them around, show them everything. I'll probably try to use the whiteboard a little more. So Chiefs cover, Dallas most likely to cover, but I think Lions with the points. Gator, I'm with you. Dallas, woot, woot. All right. Chark is out. Kaminsky and Pascal should be available. I know Swift's questionable, but Amon-Ra, that's the guy that I think could have a huge game. And that's why I don't see them getting skunked. I think this could be a fun shootout type of game, and I hope it's a fun shootout. Next game's a fun one, and this is going to be a really good one. I don't think it's going to be televised in my area. I can't wait to watch a rebroadcast of this one. This is going to be a fun one. Atlanta at Cincinnati. Everybody remembers that very questionable Grady Jarrett sack on Brady. It's hard to believe, but there's a chance the Atlanta Falcons win this division. I mean, they're 3-3. They really should have beat Tampa Bay. And they traveled to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 6.5 point home favorite. And the thing is, though, Cincinnati, they had this great comeback from behind victory. Burrow's distributing the ball everywhere. This is just going to be a great game. This is going to be a great game. I actually have no clue. My gut reaction is I think Atlanta covers the 6.5 because I really think that these two teams are about even. But whoever wins this game, it's going to be a great story because Cincinnati wins this game. They're right in the driver's seat. I think 2 weeks from now they play Baltimore. That's going to be a fun game. Atlanta, if they go on the road and win after beating San Francisco, Tampa Bay looks like a disaster. They're probably going to beat Carolina. I don't know if they cover 13, but they're probably going to win. But they're neck and neck with Tampa Bay. How exciting is that NFC South then? Because the Saints are falling apart. Carolina's falling apart. Atlanta may be able to get some easy wins. If Atlanta wins here, you have to look at them as a legitimate contender. A legitimate contender to win the NFC South, which at the beginning of the season, if you would have said, hey, week 7, Falcons are half game out of first, you would have said, put down the crack pipe, come back down to earth. But I don't know. This game's a lot of fun. I like Atlanta in this game. And the reason why is that defense is fast and aggressive. And I think they put enough pressure on Burrow. AJ Terrell, if you don't know who this is, this might be one of the top 5 corners in the National Football League. I'm not insulting Diggs when I say this. I would take AJ Terrell over Trayvon Diggs any day of the week. He's that good. You got a lot of pressure from the Falcons, and Marcus Mariota is playing within himself. He's using his legs. He's not trying to win the game all by himself, and they can run the ball. This is going to be a really, really good game. I have no idea what to expect. However, I like Atlanta to cover 6.5. Next game, Cleveland is a 6.5 point dog at Baltimore. Baltimore's blown several leads. All right, Baltimore's blown several leads. Everybody knows this. However, I think this is the week that things get set up for him. J.K. Dobbins, I'm sorry. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. It is a big loss because this is a guy who I thought could have a huge year. They did sign Deshaun Jackson. How much is he going to impact the game? I don't know. But the one thing about the Ravens, I think at home, I think the Browns are now beginning to kind of officially fall apart. I think you can see that. I think you can see Jacoby Brissett. As much as I was wanting him to be able to hold the fort and to play well and rely on the running game, I think you're seeing he isn't. The defense is not improved at all. They've actually fallen backwards. I think this is the year where the Ravens, I think this week is the week that Ravens, really, really kind of say, hey, we're one of the better teams in the AFC. Those losses, we're going to get by that. They cover 6.5. I would not recommend betting this game, but I do like the Ravens 6.5. I remember Gator. I'm the Gary. That's I'm going to take my shot. Chiefs spread is like 1. Might bump it up to like 3.5. Cowboys offensive line is really good. They reminded me that last week. Yes, when healthy, Dallas has a very good offensive line. Chiefs game is now 1.5. And I'm going to get that here in just a bit. I got to say Jets. Nope. All right. I'm getting that here in a bit. Yeah. Reynolds. Okay. Reynolds and Swift are questionable is what I saw. Amon-Ra is going to play. Chark is out. Okay. Harris is out. Okay. If Reynolds and Swift can play and can be effective, then I definitely like the over. All right, definitely like the over. If they play and they're not 100%, who knows? I mean, like there's a difference between being 60% and being 90%. So we're going to have to find out. Andrews is playing. I just saw that. Sorry, I bounced around. I'm not a Raiders fan. X is a huge fan, so I hope they lose. You know what? I'm going to talk about that, but the Raiders will get things turned around. The Saints are a disaster right now. I just think the Lions took Okudah over Terrell. Why don't they ever listen to me? Dude, hindsight's always 50-50. I will say this, like Okudah was in that line. You had Lattimore, then you had Ward, then you had Okudah. And I liked out of those three, I thought Lattimore was the best one. I thought Ward was the worst. I thought Okudah was just right in the middle. And I thought you take away those 2 years he was injured, he could be a Pro Bowl caliber corner. But AJ Terrell is just amazing right now. Like I really think that if his play, I think now with the Falcons winning, people are starting to realize this might be I really think it's a matter of time for AJ Terrell becomes the best corner in football. I think he's that good. I think he's probably top 5 already. I love this kid. I absolutely love AJ Terrell. And that's kind of why I'm looking at the Falcons and saying like, dude, you got pass rush. You got great corner. You can run the ball creatively. I mean, you got to use Marcus Mariota. I mean, it's kind of the Falcons are a fun team. I mean, Arthur Smith is getting it done, and Dean Pease has really transformed that defense. There's a lot of things to like. Baltimore and I did see Andrews was going to play. Andrews is playing. That's what I saw. Now I think it was ESPN, so but that's what I saw. Next up, Indianapolis at Tennessee. Tennessee's a 2.5-point favorite. I actually do like Tennessee here. I think that they figured out what to do, missing Harold Landry. Harold Landry was one of those guys that if you've been watching the show for a while, I love Harold Landry, one of my all-time favorite players. But with him being out, I think him getting injured in preseason really messed things up. I think they're figuring out how to get on without him and how to play well. Bottom line, I think this is a game where Derrick Henry, they rely on Derrick Henry. Prop bet time. I don't like doing prop bets for the most part, but this is one of them I do like. I think Derrick Henry has a big game. You can bank on him to go over. I think I saw you can do different bets. I don't know the exact number, but I think he's going to have a 100-yard day. I really, really do. So I do like the Ravens here. Next up, Houston travels to Vegas. Vegas is a 7-point favorite. Um, God, I don't know if they cover 7. I think this is going to be a close game. I know Texans offense has kind of struggled, but the Raiders defensively really aren't that good. This may be a game that you may want to take the over. My gut reaction is Raiders maybe cover. I 7's such a big number for a team that's 1-4 and kind of struggling. For those of you who don't know, I have action on Houston that have 4, 5, and 6 wins. So I need Houston to start winning some fucking games. Sorry, Grandma Musi. But I mean that's what I need though. I need them to start winning some games. I would probably take the over on this one, but 7's a big number. If I had to choose, I'd probably take the Raiders cover because I think that they're when everything's said and done, I still think they're going to be the second best team in the AFC West. So. Speaking of AFC West, Jets travel to Denver. Denver is a 1-point favorite at home, basically a pick 'em. If you've been following me for a while, Breece Hall, one of my big-time draft crushes, loved Breece Hall. He's starting to become the bell cow back. Really, really starting to like Breece Hall here. The Broncos defense is playing good. Russell Wilson has been a disaster. Nathaniel Hackett's been a disaster. They know the hype. This is just going to be such a great game to watch because if the Jets win, you have to seriously consider them to be a playoff team. If Denver wins, all the negativity goes away. They're actually back in wild card contention. I mean, technically they would be only 1.5 back of Kansas City, and they haven't played Kansas City yet, have they? No, they haven't. So, this is going to be a fun one. Who do I like on this one? The defenses. I haven't checked the weather report. Both defenses are good. The over-under is 38.5, which is such a low number. Bottom line, I do think Denver wins this game. I really do. I think the Jets kind of come back to earth. I think the Broncos are going to come and realize that what they really need to do is just run the ball, play good defense, and bottom line, the Jets, even though they're doing some good things, they're still limited offensively. And Denver's defense is, even though the Jets defense is playing good, the Broncos defense is better. So what team's better defensively? Well, it's Denver, or Denver's at home. Well, yeah. I'm hesitant to pick one here because I'm going to cheer for the Jets, but if I was going to bet this game, I would take Denver. I think this is the week that they the bleeding kind of stops and all negativity stops. If the Jets win this game, then the Hackett hot seat gets like boiling, and you may have to really go into abandoned ship mode. But I think Denver rights the ship this week, and people are going to kind of like, okay, well, Jets were a good story, but let's slow up. So AJ Terrell, Sauce Gardner, Pat Surtain. Oh yeah, dude. Sauce Gardner is just playing lights out, man. Alex hasn't been in here for a while, but he'll tell you that he liked Stingley better than Gardner. I didn't agree with that. Stingley, if he's healthy, he could be pretty good too. So, yeah. I never thought Okudah was good. Dude lived behind one of the best D-lines in college history, played in the Big Ten, so he had no competition, and he never fouled number ones. I could go on. Here's the thing, though. I mean, you could say the same thing. You can say the same thing about Lattimore. You can say the same thing about Ward. Both those guys played behind good defensive lines. Ohio State, talent-wise, like head and shoulders above everybody. Remember, Okudah also had a phenomenal combine. I mean, if you had to say, God, build me a NFL corner, Okudah had like a 45-inch vertical. I mean, his turn and cover ability was really good. He wasn't one of those cover guys. He was physical. There was a lot of things I really, really, really like about Okudah coming out. I loved Lattimore coming out, and then he slid all the way to 13. I'm like, what the hell? And then Ward, he went at 4, and I was like, God, you want to take him in the top 5? And he's went to some Pro Bowls and just signed a $100 million deal with the Browns. I think Okudah can be better than Ward, but I know you're not high on him, and we disagree, and that's a great thing about sports. Tarek Woolen, he is. He's a guy that I am really, really, really high on. Really, really, really high on. For those of you that don't know, Tarek Woolen went to University of Texas, San Antonio. He's a former wide receiver, and he's like what you're looking for in a wide receiver. He's like 6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds. At the combine, ran like 4.31 or something insane. And so and you're going to see more and more people do this. Same thing with Sauce Gardner. You're going to see guys that were wide receivers and they get to college and are like, listen, you can join the litany of wide receivers. But here's the deal. If you're 6 foot or taller and you're a high school or college wide receiver, go to the other side. And that's what Tarek Woolen did. So he only played defense for like 1 or 2 years at UTSA. And so he was raw. And there's a lot of things not to like about him. Right, a lot of things not to like about him, but the raw everything's just worked. And give Pete Carroll a ton of credit. But this guy is like sky's the limit on this kid. He's like 6'3", 6'4". He can run with anybody. He's physical. He's just learning, and he's playing lights out. He's going to be good. He's going to be really good. What's your thoughts on the Vikings? Are they for real? Here's the problem with the Vikings. They go when Dalvin Cook goes, and the defense is just average. All right. Dalvin Cook has a problem staying healthy. When he goes down, this team, I think, is really going to fall apart. And I say when he goes down, because he's not been able to stay healthy. When Dalvin Cook is healthy, the answer is yes, they are for real. When he goes down, he probably will. Then they're a mediocre team. I think he is going to go down. I think Green Bay still wins the division. They're only 2 games out. I mean, they're 2 games out with 11 to play. Are the Vikings for real? The longer Dalvin Cook stays healthy, the better this team can be, because they switched defensive schemes. They got a new defensive coordinator. They got a rookie defensive coordinator. They got some good pieces on defense, but this is not a good defense. All right. The offense, Kirk Cousins has never been able to make that elite step up, but he's pretty good. Dalvin Cook's the key. But if Dalvin Cook goes down, and go look at his history, he's already gone down, then that's what you got. I got the Raiders, the Vikings. I messed up, because normally what I do is every Monday I go through all the games and I go to the cities where the teams play, and I check the weather. I always check the weather. So I don't have the weather memorized for all these games, and I didn't check. So yeah, I know. I gave you the kiss of death. At the combine, didn't he run good at the combine? Yeah. Sky's the limit with this kid. Finally, Kansas City is now a 1.5 point favorite against San Francisco in San Francisco. By the way, this was 3, then it was 2.5, then the CMC trade. Now it's 1.5. So when it was at 3, I made a 1 unit bet. Then when it dropped to 2.5, I made another 1 unit bet. Now it's at 1.5. I put a quarter bet. So I have 2.25 units bet on Kansas City. And by the way, you never do this. You never bet on your own team. But San Francisco's beat up. Bosa's returning. Williams is returning. Are they going to be 100%? I don't think so. Kansas City's healthier. Kansas City's better. I love Kansas City. This is my pick. You can get 1.5. I strongly suggest you take Kansas City this week. CMC, he may play. He may not play. If he does, he's not going to play the whole game. He doesn't know the whole package. And that's another thing, is that when he's in the game, you know that he's only going to do a handful of different things. You can kind of scheme for this. Shanahan's been praised as an offensive genius. Is he as good as Andy Reid? No. Take the better coach, take the better team. 1.5. It's not that bad. That's my pick. That's where I bet. I love the Heat. Love the Heat. By the way, I'm playing in a charity kickball. Dude, be very careful. Do not tear your ACL. It's something Luke G says. I want to hear from you. I don't want to hear about you, but that's awesome. Since we're about a couple hours away, I will not be donating to your charity tournament. Actually, I'm going to do some cool shit tomorrow myself. So it's not kickball, but Grandma Measy is correct. Stay healthy, Tim. Tim's a very old man. Drink plenty of water and stretch before you play. Next up, Seattle at the LA Chargers. The Chargers are a 5-point favorite at home. Seattle, a very up and down team. I had no idea what to think here. I had no clue. I don't believe in the Chargers. I don't believe in Seattle. 50.5, I think, is a great number. I don't know what to take the over. I don't know what to take the under. I like Seattle, but I don't know. I mean, I really don't know, but I do like Seattle. I do like Seattle. I hope so. Tim, if they don't have the weird red ball, do not play. They got to have the weird red ball. But yeah, I like Seattle. I really do. I have no idea what to expect from the Chargers. I don't think they're 4-2. I said this Tuesday. If Fangio coached that Denver team, they win by 10 points. There is a lot of offensive line problems with the Chargers. There is a lot of offensive lines problems with the Chargers. That's kind of why I like Seattle to cover 5. I mean, the over under 50.5. I really don't know what to expect. I could see 17-14. I could see 45-42. But bottom line, I think Seattle keeps it close and they cover 5. This is an interesting one. Pittsburgh at Miami. The line is now 7.5. Pickett's going to come back from concussion protocol. He's going to play. Tua famously is coming back from concussion protocol. He's going to play. To be perfectly honest, if both teams were playing for the playoffs, they would probably put in their backups. But Tua versus Pickett. Steelers are now a 7.5-point dog. Miami's kind of beat up. I love Pittsburgh here, folks. I honestly could see Pittsburgh winning this game. I really, really do. And I think if you're going to do like any kind of prop bet, you can go Najee Harris touchdown, Najee Harris over on yards. I think he's going to have a big game. I know a rookie quarterback on the road, night game. I don't think it matters. The over-under is 45.5. I didn't check the weather. I think it's going to be nice. I honestly don't know. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to benefit the Steelers. I think the Steelers could win this one outright. I really do. So 7.5 is a big number for a team that I don't know what to expect from Tua coming back. I really don't. I like Pittsburgh on this one. So here's the deal. If I win the Chiefs game, I'm probably going to put a little bit on the Steelers. If I lose the Chiefs game, I'm going to hate football and I'm going to hate everything in life. I got 2.5 units. I'm 1-8. I'm officially Tim. I'm on tilt. I'm on tilt. I got to win this week. So yeah. But yeah, I love Pittsburgh. Grandma Measy has been great to join. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sorry I have to go keep track of my predictions. It's going to be funny to see how good or bad I do. It's been a while since I followed the games. I will do my best to go back and keep track of what you have or don't have. But I'm just glad you're here. I'm glad you enjoyed the show, and I'm really glad you liked the 101 videos. I'll be honest, it's really a struggle for me to do, but I'm glad you're here. Yeah, CMC probably won't understand line checks and audibles. For lucky for him if they need to play him. Jimmy G can tell him everything pre-snap. They do stand. Here's what I think is going to happen. You will understand this hopefully. I know you will, Funk. He's only going to know about 5 to 10 plays, but he may play like 20 to 30 snaps. All right. He's only going to know a small part. The one thing about the Shanahan offense that a lot of people don't understand is that it looks complex. It's not. By NFL standards, one of the simplest offenses in the league. It's a zone read system, but it looks very fancy with the window dressing and all this stuff. So what you'll see is that you like pre-snap, he already knows what he's going to do. Then they'll see some motion and shifting, and then his assignment's going to stay the same. So, like, it's going to be basically the same play. It's just going to look completely different. All right. I actually do expect him to play. Whether he plays 20 or 30 snaps or 5 to 10 is kind of just going to be up to the game. I'll be honest. I really, really think that what's going to happen is yes. That's going to be the hardest part. So anyway, here's what I think is going to happen. I think the Chiefs are really going to win this game by double digits. All right. If it's a close game, then CMC is going to play quite a bit. If the Chiefs get out early to like 14-0, I think you're going to see him sit. All right. That's kind of the way I think that they're going to use them. So that's kind of what I see here. Drop a link. Okay, when the show ends, drop your YouTube channel in the comment section after I end the show. There's a comment section. Drop your YouTube channel in the comment section after the show, and we can go all subscribe to your channel. But after the show ends, you gotta drop your link to your channel. After this year, I think San Francisco will implode and be a dumpster fire. Lance and CMC for almost the entire draft. Neither can stay on the field. That's sorry, I got a little distracted. I was not sold on Lance, and I didn't think that I thought they gave up way too much. Here's the problem is after the season's over, they're probably going to lose D'Amico Ryans. He's probably going to be a head coach. Okay. He's probably going to be a head coach. So you're going to have a new defensive coordinator. Now, they got really lucky when Salah left. D'Amico Ryans took over, and the defense almost improved. They didn't really skip a beat. But when you lose two different defensive coordinators in just a handful of years, it's hard to think that you're just going to have no letdown, because they got some injuries on the defensive secondary. That's another thing I missed. I totally missed that up. Is Funk, thank you very much, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great. Grandma Measy, you have a fantastic weekend. Anyone notice Dan wearing the cowboy hat? It's rally cap time. It's rally cap time. I'm a hot streak starting. So I just cut my something. Sorry, I'm distracted. The energy drinks do some weird stuff to me. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to change with the Niners. All right. And then I don't know, but I could, Denver Gator here to answer your question. Are they going to be a dumpster fire? I think they could. So, yeah. I liked Lance at 8 to sit behind golf for a year. I wasn't thinking about giving up the farm. Yeah, that would have been perfect. And I like the fact that he sat and he was supposed to play this year, but I remember he played his rookie season and he looked so lost. He looked so confused. He looked like there was no way he was ready to play. I remember I bet on San Francisco against Seattle, and that was because I was expecting them to have Trey Lance. Remember, Trey Lance got hurt. Jimmy G came over and just took over, right? And I was like, well, if I knew Jimmy G was going to play. For this year, Jimmy G is an improvement over Lance at the beginning. Now, Lance could get better as the year goes on, but the problem is that I mean he's going to be that ankle injury. It people kind of overlook. Like everybody talks about like medical technology. Oh, you just come back and you're the same. You're not always the same. All right. I mean, that broken ankle, there could be some long-term effects on that. I mean, he relied so much on his legs and his feet in college, and they were going to use him like if you watched Buffalo anytime this year, Josh Allen has like 5 to 7 carries every game. Not smart. They were going to do that. Jalen Hurts, same way. Kyler Murray, same way. And that's how they were going to use Trey Lance. They were going to use Trey Lance as like a pseudo running back. Like he wasn't just going to sit back and just like ding, 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 ding. Like that wasn't the style of offense. They were going to use him running the ball. Well, you can't do that now. Well, well, here's the thing. They're going to try to do that. But, I mean, is he going to be able to do that in the NFL? Who knows? I mean, he played, 2 weeks and broke his ankle? I mean, to me, that's not a good thing, man. And that's the whole reason you drafted him is because you wanted a running quarterback. Well, he just broke his fucking ankle. So now what? So yeah, they could be a disaster, but sitting behind Goff, that actually made a lot more sense because, I mean, I can tell you right now, the original offensive coordinator, the former Chargers head coach, drawing a complete blank on his name, he wouldn't have used Lance as a running back. I got his name wrong last time. I said Ben Johnson, but that's not it. Your current offensive coordinator would not use Trey Lance as a running back. I think he would have a lot more success in Detroit than he would in San Francisco, where he's going to run. They're expecting him to run 5 to 10 times on design runs. Let alone where forget when the play breaks down and he just takes off running. God, my nose is itching. But they were planning on him to have about 500 to 700 yards rushing, and 2 games in his career, he breaks his ankle. Now, can he come back and be the same? Well, sure, but you kind of got to wonder now. So, I did. I rally cap time. I'm getting ready to go on a hot streak. I got the rally cap. I got 2.25 units on Anthony Lynn. Yeah. He might do some RPOs, but he wouldn't do as many RPOs with Trey Lance actually running the ball. And I think that's something Shanahan really, really wants to do. Yeah. Exactly. I think it. You say it. I got my nose itching like a motherfucker. Go Lions! Go UCLA! I have no idea how UCLA. I haven't watched UCLA play, but I know Chip Kelly is there, and I think he's really going to turn UCLA around. It'll be very interesting to see what USC and UCLA do once they go to the Big Ten. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. The Big Ten, it's funny, the Big Ten is going to end up like 25 teams. It's going to be fucked up. Jimmy G goes to Carolina and draft rookie, paying Darnold, Baker, and Jimmy G. LOL. At least they're finally done paying Teddy after this season. You know what I think is going to happen. It's going to depend who takes over as coach. But more than likely, what I would see happening, and I don't know the contract situation, but I think the guy who ends up staying would be Darnold. Darnold would be the bridge quarterback, and let's just say that they're going to get the number one pick in the draft, right? Whoever's number one, that's going to be the guy probably day one or week 4, 5, 6, something like that. I actually think that it's more likely that he ends up in I was going to say with the Giants, but the Giants like a mobile quarterback, and that's definitely not Jimmy G's game. But Jimmy G, where he ends up next year, is going to be a great story. I'm not 100% sure Carolina makes a lot of sense. I stole this from Good Morning Football. They were projecting Bill O'Brien takes over as the coach at Carolina because he just brings Bryce Young. And the only way you get Bill O'Brien is if you bring Bryce Young. And in that situation, Bryce Young starts immediately. So, but that's going to be, that's actually going to be a very interesting story is where does Jimmy G go after this year? Carolina, Denver Gator says Carolina. It'll be very interesting where he ends up. Does he stay in San Francisco? It'll be fun. Yeah, I seriously, Lance would have made a lot of sense. And I would have liked the fact that you draft a guy like Lance in Detroit. You just sit, but he's athletic enough about that you could use him like a few times a game. Yeah. Here's the deal with Carolina. With all those draft picks and maybe the number one pick overall and some talent on defense, it's actually become a really enticing job. I mean, I do a Black Monday show, but with the number one pick in the draft and a bunch of extra draft picks, Carolina, I think, is a really, really enticing job. And I think they're doing this on purpose because I really think that they want Sean Payton to take over in Carolina. And I think that just makes a lot of sense. And I think what they're going to do is they're going to say, look, you can draft whoever you want in the draft. You're going to have all these picks, and you got some talent on defense. By the way, he's really, really, really good friends with Mike Zimmer. They go back a long way. And Mike Zimmer's at Jackson State. He's not staying there forever. So you would have to pay an arm and a leg, and you're already giving Matt Rule a lot of money. So, you would have to pay – they signed Matt Rule to a 7-year, $60 million contract. To get Sean Payton, you would have to probably pay more than that. And he may want to bring his buddy Mike Zimmer, and Zimmer's not going to come cheap. So, if you go that route, and I think that's what they're doing, you're going to have to spend a lot of money. It's going to be very interesting, but could you go cheaper and get Bill O'Brien with the promise that you bring Bryce Young? I think that they're going to spend the bucks, and I think they're going to get Sean Payton. I think they're going to try to get Mike Zimmer, and I think that they're going to draft whoever Sean Payton wants, number one. And then, what they do week one is interesting. So Hooker is so old, I can see him falling to day two. I like DJ Smith if available, and Anderson if that kid goes to a 4-3 team, he's not going to produce. So unless Lions switch back, I'd hate it. I'm sorry, man. I skipped some. Lions fan Dan and I were projecting last night. Anderson first pick, then grab Hooker at quarterback later in the first thoughts. That was funny because here's the deal. After watching Tennessee and Alabama, I fell in love with Hooker. I'm like, when me and Denver Gator watch football, he watches it in terms of college. I watch it in terms of how do they project to the NFL. Hooker to me looks like a better NFL prospect than Bryce Young. All right. The reason why is I see somebody who's like 6 foot, 190, 195, and I don't think that lasts in the NFL. I've seen some great college quarterbacks that don't play well in the NFL. Their game doesn't translate. I watched Jason White throw 58 touchdowns at OU, and he came to Kansas City, and Dick Vermeil's like, he's a camp on. That's it. He can't play in the NFL. And they were like, well, you did so good in Oklahoma. He's like, it's camp arm. This is Dick Vermeil, who was like camp arm. That's it. And it wasn't like Kurt Warner where he had some ability, but was a guy from nowhere. I mean, this is just the opposite. This is a big name, a Heisman Trophy winner. He just didn't have it. The guy who's the offensive coordinator in Buffalo right now. I'm drawing a complete blank on his name. Quarterbacked maybe probably one of the 5 or 10 best teams in college football history. I'm drawing a complete blank on the kid's name, but he was the quarterback at University of Miami. Didn't do anything in the pros. Quarterbacked. I'm not joking. Go back and look at that Miami Hurricanes team, and Ken Dorsey, one of the greatest college quarterbacks. I'm not joking. That Miami Hurricanes team that he quarterbacked, probably one of the 5 or 10 best teams of all time. Ty Detmer, Heisman Trophy winner, one of the greatest quarterbacks who ever lived. I met a girl. I knew a girl. She told me that like she went to BYU and she got to meet him. She goes, Ty Detmer's your size. I don't care where he's listed at. I was like, hey, he's listed at like 6 foot 190. She goes, he's your size. I'm 5'8". So, but she told me flat out, Ty Detmer's my size. What Ty Detmer do in the pros? Kellen Moore won 50 games at Boise State. Cooper Rush took his job in Dallas, so he became a coach. So anyway, I'm not sold on Stroud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm Bryce Young. I said Stroud because I think Stroud's going to go number 1. Okay. If Bill O'Brien takes the job and he wants to bring in Bryce Young, I get that. That makes sense. But I think C.J. Stroud's going to end up going number 1. But when I watch Tennessee play Alabama, I'm seeing a guy who's a great college quarterback. I don't know if his game translates to the pros because I see a guy who's about 190 pounds. I don't think that will last. Hooker, on the other hand, looks like he's 6'3", 230. His arm mechanics are not good. But he's got a good arm. Like you got to tighten some things up with Hooker. Like you got to work on Hooker. Like if you just throw him into an NFL offense, it's a standard NFL offense, and you ask him to make reads and react, he's going to fall apart. Could he go to somewhere like Baltimore and be like 80% of what Lamar Jackson is? Yes. Could you ask him to go to a team that has a good running game and a great defense and just, just do enough to get by? Sure. Something like something like the Jets. I mean, they're going to stick with Wilson, but but the thing with Hooker is, I mean, to me, I'll be honest with you, let's say Detroit picks number 2 overall. Do you take Anderson and then go with Hooker with your other first round pick? And to me, that makes a lot of sense. But do you draft 2 guys in the first round and just hope that you get DJ Smith or Hooker falling to day 2? You can do that. And on Anderson, if he does go to a 4-3 team, he's not going to produce. I pretty much agree with that. I mean, the only thing I can think of is, do you want to bulk him up and play him at defensive end on a 4-3? That would be what I would do if I was running a 4-3 type of defense. But I mean, really, he needs to go to a 3-4 team. It's actually funny, the mock draft that he went to the Raiders who run a 4-3, and I'm like, I mean, does that make sense? Like, you play him as an outside linebacker in a 4-3 defense? I wouldn't, but I don't know. Depending on draft position, I really like Joey Porter Jr. and Trenton Simpson, and I know how you feel about I know you feel about Okuda. Joey Porter Jr., I haven't had a chance to watch him yet. Everything I've been hearing about him is A++. Plus, I love this dad. Trenton Simpson's a guy that is just skyrocketing up draft boards. His combine is going to be big. He needs to have a great combine, but he with a great combine, he could go top 10. So that's a lot of bulk, isn't he? Like, yeah, exactly. I don't know exactly what his measurements are. I think he's about 240. So he would have to be a very undersized defensive end, and he'd put on the NFL 20, and I don't like that at all. I would rather have him as a seriously, the perfect place for him would be Detroit in a 3-4 defense, opposite Hutchinson. Like that to me would be the perfect spot. Going to the Raiders who run a 4-3, that doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, what do you do? Do you play him outside? Do you bulk him up, play him defensive end? I mean, I don't know what you do. So like him going to Raiders doesn't make a lot of sense. Him going to the Lions and starting day one opposite Hutchinson, I'm getting kind of an erection if I'm a Lions fan. I'm got to be turned on by that. Or you're Detroit and you're like, well, let's just trade down. Somebody's going to want to give up an arm and a leg. And honestly, I could see Detroit doing that. You trade down, you get your quarterback, and then you draft Porter, Simpson later on, and then your pick from the Rams. Maybe you take the other guy. You get both these motherfuckers. I mean, there's so many things we can do. But what we're talking about is take Anderson number 2, and then Hooker. Let's say 25. I'll call it 25. Let's say the Rams pick ends up being 25. To me, that makes a lot of sense. But you think that wait till the second round? I wouldn't do that. Nail your quarterback, and then get anything else later. I think that you get your quarterback early. Keep in mind, there's a good chance that one of these guys would fall. By the way, there's a good chance one of these guys would fall. So, dude, thanks, brother. I've been trying to do some thumbnail stuff. There's a lot of things on my YouTube channel that I need to work on. I was told that I was doing some research on thumbnails. So, one of the things I'm also going to do some research on is like some music, like what I'm allowed to play, what I'm not allowed to play. I got a YouTube violation for playing the old school Monday Night Football. I had like a list. It was like this fucking long of everything that was on that Monday Night Football song to put on there, and I put it on every single video, and I still have violations. So I've been scared, but I'm going to try to add some music onto the videos, something a little more entertaining. There's a lot of things I'm going to work on this year, but the thumbnail I thought was pretty cool. I was pretty impressed by that. Finally, final game, Chicago at New England. New England is a 8-point favorite. Again, I didn't check the weather report. The over-under is 40. This easily could be a 17-14 type of game. I actually think New England can cover 8. I really, really do. Contrary to popular belief, I don't think there is a quarterback controversy. I think Zach played well. I think Mac Jones, if he's healthy, he's the guy. I think he's actually going to be a pretty damn good quarterback. I don't think there's quarterback controversy at all. Some people are trying to make it out to be. I don't think it is. I think Zach just came in, did a really good job. And I think it was a great play calling. I thought it was really good job by the coaching staff. And I'm sorry, Lions fans, I think Patricia just kind of came in and did an A+ job in getting them ready. Mac Jones, I think, is going to be the guy. I think New England is going to start looking like a really, really good team. I would not recommend taking 8 just because it's too big of a number. Do I think they cover 8? The answer is yes. I would take the money line in -360, which is not a good number. But what's going to happen? Okay, so here's full disclosure. Here's what I'm going to do. I have $100 in DraftKings. I'm going to do some in-game betting early. If the Chiefs cover on, I got 3, 2.5, and 1.5. So if they cover all 3, I'm probably going to take Pittsburgh. If I'm hot, I'm probably going to do New England money line, maybe some prop bets. I'm not really sure. But that's kind of the way my week's going to go. I got 100 in DraftKings. I'm going to do some in-game betting in the morning. If the Chiefs lose or they win by 1 point or 2 points, I mean, if they win by 1 or 2, then I'm going to hate life and kind of sulk for a little bit. But that's what's going to happen. So thanks, brother. By the way, listen, guys, like the video. All right, give me a thumbs up. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. It means a lot. Share the video. I'm very close to 800. I'm very, very close to 800. I actually lost a few subscribers this week, but I'm still close to 800. I was 4 away, now I'm 6 away, but I'm almost there. So please share. Please share. All my links are below. Check out me and Denver Gators video. It's very quick. I purposely try to keep it short. I like my picks to be around 3 minutes long. I didn't post the DraftKings screenshot of the bet, so you have to take my word for it. If you question my integrity, I don't know what to tell you. I can take a screenshot and I can show you what I bet on. But bottom line, if you question my integrity, why are you watching? I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. If nothing else, I'm going to end it. The hat is tight and sweaty. It's actually hot in here, man. It was like 85 today, so it's crazy October weather in the Midwest. It's hotter in here than I thought. But if anybody doesn't have any questions, all my social media links are below. You can hit me up on Saturday, but come Sunday, I'm unreachable. So, but you can hit me up Saturday if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, anything at all. If not, guys, give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and I'll see you Tuesday. I'll be on Tuesday, not Wednesday, Tuesday.